guys, Sneaky Snake here, Brothers in Arms, World of Warships, and today's video we're going to take a look at a replay here from tsounts of the Scrub clan playing in the Black, the Tier 9 Premium American Destroyer. He's dubbed up with his buddies Freyr and Prestonics or something, and they're playing in the Missouri and the Musashi respectively, the Tier 9 American Premium Battleship and Tier 9 Japanese Premium Battleship, and they are playing some domination here on the newly renovated Okinawa. So if you'd like to send a replay into us, please send it to BIAworldofwarships, all lowercase, at gmail.com. Please include the replay file, post-game screenshots, a brief description of the battle, and then if you'd like myself or Spider to do the commentary, you can certainly request for that as well. So, what are we going to look at here in this community replay? Well, first of all, pardon for not having a replay last Saturday. Unfortunately, we did not get any submissions after the patch hit, so all of the old replay files were unfortunately untenable. But now we're going to enjoy this Black replay. Now, of course, the Fletcher at Tier 9 is one of the best DDs tier for tier, and the Black is indeed a Fletcher-class destroyer with DD hull number 666. So, what are the differences? Well, there's two chief ones, the first of which is the radar. Now, the Black has access to it, 7.5 kilometers, a stock duration of 20 seconds. That is before you consider the radar surveillance modification, which extends the duration of the radar. And then, of course, the other difference is that you have some very interesting torpedoes. 43 knots, over 21,000 damage a pop, and a range of 13.7 kilometers. So this thing is one of the better cap contesters and cap securers in the entire game, right up there with ships like the Z-52, for its ability to be able to control the capture point with some form of consumable. And in this case, of course, it is the radar. And that's what makes the Black so much fun to play, and that's pretty much its gimmick, its unique thing. This ship is able to sneak up on unsuspecting destroyers and really diddle them with the firepower, because of course, this is a Fletcher hull at the end of the day, and it still has those 5 127mm guns that does have a pretty good rate of fire. Now we're going to see here, tsounts at the very beginning is going to play a little bit more cautiously here, and unfortunately it is going to prevent him from being able to stop the B-cap from being secured for the enemy team, as he does have to turn in to try to dodge these torpedoes. But yeah, that radar that the Black has, 7.5 kilometers worth of range, is plenty good to be able to get deep and well within a destroyer's surface detection range, and then pop your smoke screen and let your radar spot the enemy ship, and you can sit in your smoke with relative impunity, at least from detection, and really let them have it. And, you know, it's a trait that is kind of shared by the Z-52. Of course, the Z-52 has hydro, and its range is only about 6 kilometers, but it's kind of the same thing. So you want to be able to recycle your smokes and your radar on the caps, and it makes the Black an incredibly difficult ship to deal with, especially if you have friends that are in support of you. So tsounts is now going to wheel back about face and get onto the B-cap. You can see that there are ships up north on the A-cap for the enemy team, and there also are a couple destroyers down on the C-cap for the enemy team as well, as his friendly Cossack kicks the bucket. So already it's not looking very good, as the enemy team has control of or is contesting all 3 of the capture points, and things are going to go downhill pretty quickly. So the Black is going to have to throw her weight around, and that's exactly what's about to happen here, is this Z-46 does get detected. Now, of course, the smoke immediately gets popped, and since the Z-46 shot and is within gun detection range of somebody else, this means that he is spotted, so he's going to have to smoke up here to try to get away from the fire. But like I mentioned earlier with the radar, this is where the Black shines. The radar gets popped, and tsounts is not going to let that Z-46 feel it. Now, he does have torpedoes going downrange into the smoke screen, but you can see just how unbelievably slow these things are. They're not going to be able to catch up to that Z-46 in time, and to make matters worse, tsounts accidentally drifted out of his smoke screen. So it's going to eat a little bit of unnecessary damage here that didn't need to happen. And it's not only the Z-46, but the Jean Bart is going to get some shells coming in at him, and he's going to lose a little bit over 4,000 hit points, where I really don't think that that was the most prudent play. But nevertheless, the Z-46 has now been driven off of the capture point simply because of the threat of the radar, and now tsounts should be able to get the B-cap in his team's control. There's also a friendly Tashkent that is coming onto the cap as well to help get this capture point taken care of quicker. However, you can see that his friendly team has already lost 3 ships compared to the enemy team's 1, and it's really not looking that good. He is getting some shots downrange now at the Jean Bart, and this is where the American gun arcs really do come in handy, And it's not just on the destroyers, it's on most of the American ships in the game. You have the less muzzle velocity, so you are able to lob the shells over like so. And he is going to get a fire here on this Jean Bart, which should secure that guy's fate, as he is now below 10,000 hit points and bleeding HP. So, unfortunately, the Z-46 is actually about faced and gotten back onto the B-cap. So, unfortunately, he's not going to be able to get it for his team. So, he's going to decide now to switch his focus towards some of the ships that are down to the southeast at the C-cap. He does burn down the Jean Bart, which is nice, and then he gets some blind shots into the smoke screen down there, trying to fish out the Asashio, and that's exactly what happens as T-Sounds picks up a very nice double strike to momentarily bring the scores back to a little bit more manageable. However, the Z-46 and the Tashkent are now engaged in a gunfight. You can see that the Z-46 is once again moving away from the capture point because, well, he's got to get out of there. And T-Sounds is now dropping more torpedoes downrange at the pair of enemy battleships that are moving their way to the northeast. And you can see that the Z-46 is still engaging that gun duel with the Tashkent. So what he's going to do here is make a very smart play. You can see that the Tashkent was just destroyed by the combined firepower of the Jutland and the Z-46. So he's now going to go back in and try to get this Jutland spotted. And right here, this is pretty much a textbook play that you can make with the Black. You can see that the Jutland is turning in towards his position, and the Jutland is going to go undetected any second now. There we go. Because his the cooldown for the concealment, the 20 seconds came in. However, now he's going to sit here and stalk this Jutland. And if that guy decides to push in for whatever reason, he is going to get detected. And it just so happens that he has his smoke and his radar backup ready to go. And like I said, being able to cycle this stuff is monumentally important. So the Jutland's going to do a little bit of damage. He goes undetected because he's in his smoke. But now T-Sounds gets his radar up, and this Jutland's fate has been secured. And like I said, when you can get this stuff in tandem with your smoke and your radar, this is the kind of outplays that you can have on enemy ships. So he gets the kill on that Tier 9 British destroyer. His torpedoes are going downrange towards the Missouri and the Friedrich de Grosse, so that's good. And to top it all off, he's going to get onto the B-cap and actually spot the Z-46 as well at about 7.5 kilometers. Now, I don't agree with this play right here. I really wish he would have started shooting right now. However, he gets a detonation on the enemy Missouri for about 35,000 hit points, which was pretty sweet. And now he's getting some shots downrange at the Z-46. But I really do think that he could have picked up another double strike right here if he would have started shooting at that Z-46, because when he did detect him, he was sailing in a straight line for about 5 to 7 seconds before he decided to open up on him. And I think that would have given him enough time to get a few more salvos downrange and kill off this Z-46, because now what he's going to do is make a little bit of a mistake here. The Asashio is coming down from the A-cap. You can see their last reported. He is shooting the Z-46, and he is going to gun him down, but as he does go undetected here, he has to turn back to the left, and unfortunately, as he comes around the corner, after picking up the Kraken Unleashed, the enemy Asashio is going to be right here, but also the enemy Gascon is kind of feinting his way over towards the B-cap. So with only 7,500 hit points here, any second now, this Asashio is going to detect him, and he's going to now have to get into another gunfight with another enemy destroyer. And you can see that it kind of catches him off guard a little bit as he loses a decent amount of hit points, but then inexplicably he decides to launch his torpedoes instead of using his rate of fire to good effect on the Asashio, and the Asashio manages to land 2,400 points of damage there with that very last salvo, and he does get spotted long enough that the Gascon is able to get one of his turrets in for another 1,000 damage and another fire set on him. So a little bit of unnecessary HP lost, and I'm not trying to rag on you, dude, if you are watching this replay. This, so far, has been pretty sweet, but just a few mistakes here and there that I'm pointing out, and of course, hindsight is always 20/20. But just some things to think about. Now, the Asashio, of course, knows that those torpedoes have just went through, and while the Black does have a pretty decent torpedo reload, you got to be thinking that this Asashio is smelling blood in the water. There's no ships that are any more remotely close to be able to help him. For some reason, the Dmitry Donskoy is all the way back in D9. I'm not 100% sure what he's doing all the way back there. But like I said, you got to think that this Asashio is coming through the gap in the islands, and that's exactly what happened. Now, fortunately, his rear turrets are not pointed at him because the Asashio has the terrible traverse, so he is going to be able to get some good shots in at this guy, and he realizes that his fate has been secured, so he's going to try to drop some torpedoes here on the Asashio. Unfortunately, his torpedoes do get reloaded just in time, and he is going to drop them. And as the Gascon's secondaries take him out, the Asashio blinds his way right into one of the torpedoes, so he picks up his 6th kill of the game, and it's just a flesh wound to go along with a trio of other medals. But just because this is how Okinawa is, with 10:09 left in the game, the majority of his friendly team that went up towards the A cap, which happened all of the time on the old version of Okinawa. And as you can see here, once again, the guys that go up to A, usually it's not a very good idea because you're so far away from the B and the C cap. That is where this game is won and lost on Okinawa, and it doesn't matter about the changes that have been made, that is still something that holds true. So his team is losing 220 to 622, and the enemy team is actually gaining points very quickly. Those guys up north are going to have to finish off a couple of those enemy ships to be able to make this game winnable. It's 5 versus 4 right now. You can see the Donskoy is shooting some shells downrange at the Gascon, and fortunately his buddies in the battleships are going to be getting onto the sea cap. But yep, his team is going to end up winning this game. But one other quick thing that I wanted to say before we get to the post-battle results is, don't get me wrong, dude. This was a great game. That was about 5 to 6 minutes worth of just, pretty sweet combat. I don't have a black. My buddy Spider does. I don't think Puddin does, and he has a blast doing it. And again, that smoke and radar combination, when you can use it and put it to good effect, you can do some pretty awesome stuff with the black. And you saw right there, 6 kills, 80,000 damage. That's really good stuff. So, with that being said, we're now going to take a look at the post-battle results. Alrighty guys, taking a look now at the post-battle results. Tsounts secured 647,000 credits and over 10,000 total experience. He picked up Devastating Strike, Double Strike, Kraken Unleashed, and It's Just a Flesh Wound, dealing 80,000 points of damage off of 90 shell hits and 2 torpedoes. He sank 6 enemy ships, had 4 fires, and spotted 4 ships as well. Taking a look at the team score, his buddy in the Missouri had 2 kills and 2658 base XP. And his buddy in the Musashi had another 2 kills in 1870. So between the 3 of them, 10 kills and a whole lot of base XP and quite a few medals as well. So Freyr, Tsounts, Pristonix, great job, guys. That was a pretty awesome result that you guys had there. The detailed report, nothing too noteworthy here, but he was around the B cap, and I mean, you could see the frags that he had on the Asashio, the Z-46. He had the Jutland, of course, 4 enemy destroyers taken out. This is what the Black is able to do well, and this is what the Black is able to just, it's the best quality about this ship. The smoke and the radar, you can do a lot of great stuff. So, thank you for sending in the replay. I hope you enjoyed the commentary, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's. Thank you for your replay submission. It was a very nice email that you sent us. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your holidays with your friends and family. And that includes all of you guys as well watching this video. So with that being said, this is the Sneaky Snake for BIA World of Warships. Please consider liking the video, commenting on it, sharing it with your buddies, whatever you want to do. Thank you for your support that you give us, and have a fantastic day.